This is the core component Holy Cross mock, and this is mock 3, and we're on the last question, which is the essay question, which is question 7. And this is all about endosymbiotic theory. So the theory that our mitochondria and chloroplasts were separate organisms, independent, and they were prokaryote, and they got engulfed by another cell and then became part of it, and then that has since divided and they're still together. And the question is, using your knowledge of mitochondrial and chloroplast structure, provide the evidence in favour of this theory. There's the key there. It says your knowledge of mitochondrial chloroplast structure. So we're definitely in here somewhere going to tell the story of the structures of these two. That's going to be a big part of it. And then in favour of this theory, well, what's the theory? That they were once independent prokaryotic cells. So we're looking for evidence that these are similar to prokaryotic cells. So I think we would have our three kind of clouds, and I think we'd have two of them would be structures, and this would be the structure of mitochondria, this would be the structure of chloroplasts, and then the third one would be how are they similar to prokaryotic cells. So that's our plan, I think. And so let's just flesh that out a bit. I'm not going to write the entire essay. I'm just going to try and give you some ideas. So, structure of mitochondria. So we're looking for you to, come up with a diagram with all the relevant bits on and labels, using your knowledge of mitochondrial structure. That's what it says. So we're just going to draw the sort of typical diagram here, and we can label various parts of this. So for example, outer membrane, inner membrane, intermembrane space, crista or cristae if it was plural, and we have got matrix, and we would give a little bit more information about these. So for example, what is our inner membrane? We would mention things like ATP synthetase on the inner on the inner membrane. We'd mention enzymes in the matrix, things like link reaction, Krebs cycle going on in the matrix. We'd mention aerobic respiration producing ATP So we give lots of details about our structure and function of mitochondria. And again, we do that with chloroplast. So structure of chloroplast. My writing's terrible, isn't it? And we'd do the same sort of thing. We'd have a double membrane. We'd have more membrane things inside. Some of them in stacks. So, so we'd have double membrane thylakoid granum, or plural grana, and stroma inside. And we give more details about these various objects. For example, the thylakoid membranes. So thylakoid membranes, we'd associate chlorophyll with them, and light dependent reactions. So light dependent reactions of photosynthesis. We say the stroma, these would be light independent reactions going on in the stroma. So photosynthesis is the main theme in here. We might have things like starch grains and so on. So that's the kind of outline structures and functions of mitochondria and chloroplasts, using your knowledge of mitochondrial and chloroplast structure. Okay. Then we move on to this theory, which is why are these two most likely to have been engulfed by another cell? Well, what have we got as supporting evidence? The main bit of supporting evidence is they are very similar to prokaryotes. So similarities to prokaryotes. So if the theory is that these were once independent prokaryotic cells, well, what evidence have we got? So for example, two membranes. That kind of supports the fact that they've been engulfed. If you imagine vesicles in phagocytosis, that might be the same sort of thing. So double membrane. And then there are other things that these contain that actually support that theory. So these contain ribosomes, but the types of ribosomes that they are the smaller 70S ribosomes, not the larger ribosomes that are present in eukaryotic cells. So 70S ribosomes. They've also got circular DNA within them. So just similar to prokaryotes. So again, circular DNA as opposed to the linear in a line DNA that's in eukaryotes. You could look at the size of these, and when you compare the size of these, they're more similar to bacterial cells than other eukaryotic cells. So the size similar to bacterial or prokaryotic cells. So that's the sort of theory that we want you to do. So no, not asking you to do anything new. All we're asking you to do is compare and contrast things, follow the actual question and do what it asks. To get into our top band of marks, we're looking for these details here to be correct, and we're wanting some explanations for the various structural features and relate those to function. So for example, we might give in here we might give at least 2 of these points to get into that top band. In the middle band, so if the top band's sort of 7 to 9, in the middle kind of 4 to 6, we are more giving correct information, but it's more outlines rather than a lot of detail. In the bottom band, 1 to 3, then you are saying some things about these, but not enough explanation, not enough reasoning. Some functions might be there, or you might have got a few mistakes in there, not being correct. So all you need to do now is turn that into a nice essay, and you can keep the diagrams.